Hey, I'm Josh, welcome back to the workshop, and today I thought I'd have a chat with you about where to sell your products to get the best profit possible. Alright? So we'll start the video off today, then give you a quick bit of background about who I am and the business, just so you know that we obviously understand what we're talking about. We're not just some random YouTuber who says, hey look, this is where you need to go sell your gear for views, and they have no idea what they're talking about, right? So we started off our business about 8 years ago now. Yeah, I think something like that, out of our garage using a table saw that I built out of MDF and an old motor. I'll pop a picture up. It was a little bit ropey if I'm fair. We did that. So we worked in the garage for maybe a year or two. We had no space, right? We had like a little table, workbench down the side. Everything was always full of rubbish. We used to have to open up the garage doors out, put a tarp over the cross of the top of the doors when we were when it was raining, all that sort of jazz. Like, we literally built the business from nothing. Yeah, that worked out well. Then we got 750 square foot unit, and now we've got 2,500 square foot unit, and we've built that over the course of, like I said, about 8 years. If you see some of the videos, we don't have like ridiculously expensive kit. We don't have big panel saws. You know, everything that we do, we tend to maybe not on the cheap, but we tend not to spend money if we don't have to. Same goes for when we're running a business, when we're trying to sell our stuff. We need the biggest bang for buck possible, right? And you all understand that. Everybody's busy. I would imagine a lot of you people watching do this as like a bit of a hobby, like a second time job, bit of a side hustle, that sort of thing. So you need the biggest bang for buck possible. Now, the information that I'm going to give you massively relies on the type of product that you're selling and the area that you're in. Okay, so there's obviously the big selling platforms. There's things like eBay, Etsy, Facebook, Amazon. Amazon's quite a big one to get into, and it's not really for the faint of heart. We've had a huge amount of work to get into Amazon. The fees in relation to something like Etsy are quite good. Obviously, when you're looking at how many people are going to see your product, the possibility is huge, right? Global when it comes to Amazon. However, there's obviously a huge amount of products out there, and you're vying for that space there to try and compete with those products. So that's quite a difficult one to get into to begin with. Then there's good old eBay. eBay's great, I guess. When we started out, it was really good. Now there's a lot of overseas sellers on there, which can ruin it, to be honest with you. The difficult thing that you're going to find when you're selling a product online is people have only got the pictures to go for, and it's really easy to make a terrible product look good in the picture, because I've bought some before, right? And that's one of the reasons why we've worked so hard to build the business up, is because we want to provide a quality product for our client. Obviously there's Etsy. Again, when we started out on Etsy was a great place to work. The fees weren't too bad, and the competition was relatively good in terms of the quality of the materials were good, so people knew that when they were going to go there, they'd pay a little bit extra because they were getting handmade, handcrafted goods. Now, sadly, Etsy's turned into more of a drop shipping business, which is effectively what Amazon is. So a lot of companies you'll see there are selling things for like next to nothing because they're drop shipping them from like China, Eastern Europe, all that sort of stuff. And that absolutely canes a small business, and it ruins a hobby. And then the other big one is Facebook, right? So Facebook Marketplace. Facebook, I think, is great in terms of like trying to run a business, promote your business. Obviously there's Instagram as well. They're pretty much the same sort of thing, just crossed over. The issue you might find with Facebook Marketplace is that everybody is out for a bargain. So I think it's a great place to try and advertise your business and advertise your products, but it's not necessarily the best place to sell, depending on what it is that you're doing. So if you're selling low-end goods, you know, stuff that's going for like £5-10, so like 10-15 bucks, you're probably going to do well on Facebook, depending on the market that you're like in the area that you're working at. If you're going for high-end stuff, so like if I wanted to sell one of my canoes on there for like £2.5-3 grand, probably not going to sell it, because the people that are popping on Facebook Marketplace all the time are the ones that are looking for the lower end items. What I do tend to find is really, really good is in terms of Facebook are the local business selling pages or the local selling groups, especially when you can create a listing on Facebook Marketplace. You can then share that to a selling group, and then what you're doing is you're then sharing that product with what could be 250,000 people. I know some of the selling pages that I'm on, well, for the business, one of them's got like 80,000 people, one's got 100,000 people, some of them have got like 10,000 people. I think you can maybe like share to 10 pages at a time. You could literally be talking like 250,000 people, but it all depends on the area and the market that you're looking at. So with all that rambling aside then, you're sitting there saying, hey Josh, I made this really cool little Halloween gift, or like a candy bowl, or something nice for Christmas, little Christmas decoration. Where should I sell it? And I'll be honest, I think the first place that I would go is Facebook. Then I think the second place that I would go is Etsy. And I would probably, for the most part, steer clear of eBay and Amazon. The one thing that I would suggest is if you want to do this as a side hustle, small business, hobby that pays for itself, I would probably look at maybe investing in a website. Now, there's a whole different bunch of people out there. We use Wix because that's just what I started with. The builder seems relatively simple. I think they're like £15 a month. With taking payments and stuff, set yourself up a PayPal account and you're golden. Obviously, you've got all your issues with like tax and all those sorts of things, but I can't tell you what to do with those because I don't know where you are. One thing we do with Facebook is we will create a listing on the marketplace with the product that we're selling. Say, for example, we're selling a bunch of these like super duper nice geometric cases. They're on the website if you'd like to have a look. What I would do is I'll create a listing, I'll get all my pictures sorted, and then I will share it to all the groups. And what I will do on the bottom of that listing is I will put a link through to my website. And what that's going to do is that's going to generate leads from those listings, those Facebook Marketplace listings, and send them across to our website. And then if they buy it on the website, guess what? The only charge that we pay is maybe the PayPal fee or the Square fee or the Visa fee or something like that. If you're paying on Etsy, you're probably looking at like, as a general rule, 15% in fees. Amazon's works out to be like 10 to 15% depending on the category that you're selling in. eBay's like 10%. So yeah, so as a general rule, if you're going to sell something you think it's going to sell well and you're going to be posting it, obviously, the best thing to do is maybe to set yourself up a website. It doesn't necessarily take a long time, but it is probably something you're going to have to learn how to do. But as with everything, when you're running a small business, there's nobody's going to fix it for you, right? So if you want to do it, you've got to do it yourself. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing to be able to try and learn all these new skills, even though it is hard work. One thing to remember, obviously, when you're looking at any of the selling sites, whether that's you're going to be selling something on your website, whether it's going to be on Etsy, eBay, Amazon, whatever, you need to remember and account for fees, right? So I know I've talked about before in the past about what you need to charge so that you can be able to run a business, cover your overheads. It's the same sort of thing when you're looking at selling. You need to make sure that the list price that you're going for, it takes into account the percentage of fees that you're going to have, any shipping costs that you're going to have, any packaging costs that you're going to have, and then you need to obviously allow yourself for enough profit on the product that you're making, taking into account your material costs, time, overheads, all that sort of rubbish. Now it sounds like it's a lot to think about. I guess it kind of is in the beginning, but the best thing to do is if you're computer literate, is to maybe set yourself up a spreadsheet. That's what I've got. I've got a spreadsheet up so that everything I list on Amazon, I know we can work to a specific percentage of profit, so like 50%. Another good way is to maybe just start writing bits and pieces down, and the more that you do it, the better you're going to get at it. But again, this is why having a website set up is better than going to a lot of these other sales places, because then you can try and funnel people into your website and make more money because you charge less fees. Again though, that does require more work in terms of marketing, so getting up on Facebook Marketplace, putting your product up there, popping a link in and trying to funnel people to the website. And the other beautiful thing is you have a website, you can keep putting pictures up like Instagram, like Facebook, of all the different things that you do, and then somebody might come over and be like, oh, I want to buy a little box. And then they look and go, oh, you know what? I bet they could make me a table. Bang, awesome. Then you can have a chat with them, they'll do the contact form, you have a chat, maybe you've got another bit of business from them, yeah? So you always got to be thinking that next 1, 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. Another important thing to remember about Facebook Marketplace is if you're going for, say, a mid-range or a higher end item, so the item's going to cost like £200, £300, £400, have a think about the selling pages that you're joining and where you're sending your product to. If, for example, you're sharing your product to a selling page where the average income is quite low, and people probably aren't going to be able to afford it, you're probably going to have a less return on that than, say, for example, sharing it to an area where it's quite affluent, where people have expensive houses and they drive around in nice cars and all that sort of stuff. Like, I guess it's a harsh reality about trying to run a business. You know, you need to target your business towards the market that's going to pay for the product that you want to provide. Yeah? You can't just be like, right, well, I'll let the product speak for itself, because it doesn't work. I've tried it and it doesn't work, right? You've got to go out there, push yourself, market yourself, and that's how you're going to succeed. So in terms of marketing, then we'll do a quick run around marketing. How do you market your business? How do you market your products? You're going to need to get yourself a Facebook page. You need to get yourself an Instagram account. Maybe even set yourself up a YouTube Shorts channel where you can preview your product for people. You're going to need to learn how to take pictures, right? Good quality pictures. Now, you don't need a proper camera. You can take some with a phone. And there's plenty of apps. There's an app I use called Polish, Polish, which is great for editing photos. There's lots of online courses that are free. There's lots of YouTube channels. There's things like Skillshare, which is a great piece of software that you can get onto, and there's lessons there for you to learn how to edit your videos, edit your photos, edit your product, learn how to copyright. There's lots and lots and lots of things to learn, right? And don't be put off. I tell you what, the more I list, the more I'm like, you shouldn't be put off. What you should do is just sit there and say, hey, look, this is what I want to do, and then work back from that and figure out what it is that you need to learn. Now, it probably won't be overnight, it probably won't be super easy, and it's probably going to take you a bit of time. But if you want to do it and you're going to put the effort in, you'll probably succeed, right? That doesn't mean to say that your product's going to work 100% of the time, because it isn't. I make some stuff and everyone's like, wow, that's amazing, you'll sell loads of those, and I don't sell any. I made a whole bunch of like gardening signs and stuff, market them everywhere. They're only a tenner a piece. They were like using up a bit of scrap, and yeah, like I think we sold like 2 or 3. I don't know why. I still don't know why. I've tried as much as I possibly can to try and figure out, and it didn't. So we've sacked them off, and we move on to the next thing. Probably also need to understand, like I said, there's lots to learn. It might be a little bit of a journey. Journeys don't necessarily always go quite easy. There's probably, like I said, work and effort and setbacks and stuff like that. But again, there's no reason not to do it. It is achievable, right? You can make good money off of it if you want to, if you're prepared to put the time and effort in. Be something you're passionate about as well. I do think in today's modern age, being able to take good pictures, write good copy, and do videos is like a massive step up over the competition. You don't necessarily need like thousands and thousands of followers, 10,000 followers. You just need to have that set niche of people in there that like your stuff, like you, and want to support you. Yes, last bit, right? Because I'm rambling on, because I could talk for hours on this. They're not just buying the product, right? This is the most important thing. They're not just buying the product, they're buying you and your story, right? One of the most important things we did when I get a new client in is I sit there and say, hey, look, if you don't mind, I'll give you a quick 5-minute run through about who we are and what we do. And then what that happens is I sit there and I tell them about where we started. We're a family run business, we have kids, we work hard, we put the effort in. We try not to be perfectionists over everything, but that quality is our main selling point. I quite often sit there and say, hey, look, what I'll do is I'll ask you a budget, because I want to provide you the best possible product that I can. It's funny, right? Because a lot of clients will sit there and think, oh yeah, like he's trying to get as much money out of as possible, and I'm not. Well, I mean, I am, but what I'm trying to do is provide the best product possible at their rate. It tends to make everything run smoother, runs easier, and and there's a lot less wasted time between us and clients, because we know where they're at, they know where we're at, and we can kind of meet in the middle there. In today's world, right, I think the story is everything. You have to find a way to set yourself ahead of everybody else, right? So I quite often have a conversation with my kids about, if you can turn up 10 minutes early to your job, show enthusiasm even on the rubbish days, and be willing to work and learn, there's like, you're ahead of like 75% of the other people your age. And it's the same thing with this, is if you can share your story, get people involved, and make them think, oh, I want to help this guy out, or I want to help this woman out, I want to get involved in that product, in that story, in that journey that they're taking. It sounds daft, right? But if they get involved in that journey you're taking, they're more likely to spend money with you, they're more likely to get involved with you, and they're more likely to not only like pass on your name, but keep coming back as a returning customer. Obviously, you need to be doing a good job, you need to be doing a quality job at that, and you need to be providing a good service. But if you can hit that price point, that service and the product, you're going to be laughing, right? I promise you, you will be. It's not easy, but it is 100% doable. It's hard, I will say that, right? Nothing's easy that's worth anything. And if it's easy, it probably isn't worth as much as what you maybe think it is. And I love my business, I love my life, I love my job, and it's very hard at times. However, I have fought for this, and I think if you feel as passionate about the work that you do, the products that you do, you'll fight for it as well. And if that means you've got to take some extra classes, do some extra courses, watch some YouTube videos, which I bet 99% of the people watching this have at some point watched a YouTube video on how to change a blade, how to cut something, how to trim something down, how you use something. Like, I'm sure there's a heck of a lot of people that have watched some of my other videos where I talk about finishes and workshops, benches, all that sort of stuff. It's just an extension of that, right? So it's like you learn about your woodworking, then you learn about running a business, you learn about social media. I know social media can suck for some people, but it's just kind of what's got to be done nowadays, guys, isn't it? Right? It's got to be done. Like, just like I'm speaking to you on YouTube now, just like I've got Instagram, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. It's just what needs to be done. But yeah, I hope that's helped. I'm sure I've just rambled on no end. I hope that's helped you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you would like me to do a video or a short on anything specific and going into more depth in what I spoke about, just let me know. And I promise I will try and get some sort of project build in the next week or two, but work has just been ridiculous. So it's Sunday afternoon I'm recording this, and I've got to go edit it and try and get it up this evening. Let me know what you think. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button, the like button. If you've really enjoyed it, maybe think about subscribing to the rest of the channel. I hope you've had a great time. You take it easy. Have a great day, and I shall see you on the next one. All right.